Imagine sitting in a crowded restaurant on a rainy evening, when something happens that no one expects, a billionaire known for his arrogance, and a simple waitress trying to make ends meet, collide in a way that changes everything. If you think you've seen it all, wait until you hear this. And by the way, if you love stories that touch the heart and inspire the soul, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to witness will stay with you for a long time. It all began in a high-end restaurant tucked away in the city's busiest district. The kind of place where crystal chandeliers sparkled above and polished marble floors reflected every light like mirrors. To the wealthy elite, it was just another night of luxury dining. To Aisha, the young waitress rushing from table to table, it was survival. She wasn't there for the tips or the glamour, she was there to pay her younger brother's school fees and to keep the electricity running in the tiny apartment they shared. Every shift meant hope, every plate she carried meant sacrifice. That night, the restaurant buzzed louder than usual. A table was being prepared for someone important. Rumors spread among the staff, the billionaire is coming. His name was Mr. Adrian Blake, a man whose wealth was matched only by his pride. He was a tycoon with businesses spread across continents, and he carried himself as though the world owed him respect. The waiters whispered nervously, afraid of making mistakes. Adrian was known to dismiss staff with a single cold glance. When he arrived, dressed in a tailored black suit with a gold watch glinting at his wrist, silence fell. His presence was heavy, commanding. Aisha was assigned to his table by pure chance. She tried to steady her hands as she approached him, clutching her notepad. Adrian looked at her sharply, then smirked. "You," he said, his voice cutting through the air. "Do you even understand what's on this menu? Or do you just memorize it?" His words carried mockery, and a few diners nearby chuckled. Aisha's cheeks burned, but she kept her composure. He leaned back, testing her. "Tell me, what's the French description under this dish?" He pointed at the menu, knowing full well that most waitresses couldn't translate it. His tone was loud, almost daring her to fail. But instead of stumbling, Aisha took a breath. And then, with perfect fluency, she translated not just the dish but the entire paragraph, her voice calm, graceful, and confident. She didn't stop there. When he switched to Italian, she replied smoothly. When he muttered in Spanish, her answer came instantly. When he threw in Mandarin, her tones and words were flawless. The room froze. Forks stopped mid-air, conversations halted, and all eyes turned to the young waitress who had just outshone one of the most powerful men in the city. Adrian's smirk faded into disbelief. For the first time, he was speechless. "Where did you learn all of that?" he asked finally, his arrogance cracked by genuine curiosity. Aisha's eyes softened, but her voice carried strength. "I learned because I had to. My parents passed away when I was young. I studied every night, every spare moment, because knowledge was the only thing I could carry with me when the world took everything else. My brother dreams of becoming someone great, and I promised him I'd never let poverty steal that dream. So I learned. I never stopped learning." The billionaire looked at her differently now. Not as a servant, not as someone beneath him, but as a woman with fire in her spirit. The silence in the restaurant broke into whispers of admiration. People who had seen her as just a waitress now looked at her with respect. Adrian cleared his throat and lowered his gaze, humbled. "I underestimated you," he admitted. For a man like him, those words were rare. He asked her name, and for the rest of the evening, instead of commanding, he listened. What no one in that restaurant knew was that this moment would mark the beginning of a turning point, not only for Adrian but for Aisha too. The billionaire who once mocked people below him would later invite her to join a language program his foundation funded. She would become a bridge between cultures, a voice for those unheard. And Adrian? He learned that true wealth was not measured in gold watches or skyscrapers, but in wisdom, resilience, and the courage to rise no matter how hard life pushed you down. By the time the night ended, the diners applauded Aisha. Some even had tears in their eyes. Adrian stood as well, clapping, not because he wanted to but because he had to. The waitress he thought he could embarrass had instead revealed to him his own ignorance. And as Aisha walked home in the rain later that night, shoes soaked and hair damp, her heart felt lighter than ever. She hadn't just defended herself, she had proven that no dream, no talent, no gift should ever be hidden in the shadows of circumstance. So remember this, the world might label you, underestimate you, or even laugh at you, but what you carry inside, your determination, your hard work, your voice, has the power to shock even the richest, most powerful people alive. And if this story touched you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, because stories like this are not just meant to be heard, they're meant to remind us all that greatness often comes from the most unexpected places.